Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dropkick Radio Wrestling Show at dropkickradio.com. It's Jeremy Graves here, and joining me on the line is a man who I last spoke to on his tour bus back in Southampton during the Fozzy tour of late last year. I am very happy to be joined once again by the one and only Chris Jericho. Chris, welcome back to the show.
What's going on, man?
It's going good, thank you, going good. And I suppose the logical place to start is where I left off with you during our last interview, which was coming up towards the end of the Let the Madness Begins tour by Fozzy. As mentioned, it was in Southampton when I last spoke to you. So, to kick things off, how was the rest of that tour for you?
It was great, man. It was a long time ago, so I don't even really remember. We've done so much touring since then, but that whole tour was amazing. We had some great shows, and anytime we can come to the UK, it's always a blast. So we're excited to be coming back this summer again.
Now, I will inquire, because I did read this somewhere online. Is it true that you picked up some kind of abdominal injury on that last UK tour?
Not really, no. Just kind of a little bit of a pull. You know, we did a lot of moving and running and jumping and all that sort of thing, so yeah, it was no big deal.
There we go then. Now, as you mentioned, you are going to be coming back over very, very soon. You have got a massive summer tour planned, which has got a very notable stop here in the UK, that being at the very high-profile Sonosphere Festival in Nebworth. The lineup includes the likes of Slipknot, Limp Bizkit on the day you'll be performing. It's also got the big four of Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth and Anthrax on the first day. My first question for you, Chris, is quite simple. How much are you looking forward to being part of this festival, Bill?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's like you said, it's going to be a long tour, and there's a lot of shows that we're playing in the UK, but the crown jewel is Sonosphere. And, you know, to be playing on the same festival as Metallica and, you know, on the same day as Slipknot and Motorhead and all those other great bands, it definitely just shows how far Fozzy's come as a band, and it's going to be a great day, and we're really excited about it. And that's, you know, a lot of the reason why we're there is thanks to all of the UK fans, because I think this is our 10th tour of England and the 10th tour of the UK, and you know, we just keep coming back because our fan base just continues to grow and continues to get crazier and crazier. So, you know, we wouldn't be back again if it wasn't for all the, you know, Fozzy fanatics in the UK who keep demanding to see us again and keep supporting us whenever we come over. So it's a big party for all of us.
Now, the last time you played at a festival, Bill, in the UK, if I'm correct, was at the Download Festival. Would that be correct?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So given that that was obviously a fair few years ago and Fozzy has developed since then, for perhaps some people listening out there who may not have seen you since the Download Festival, what can people expect come that day in July?
The same thing that we always do is we make sure that everybody has a great time. We put on a high-energy show every night, and we definitely take pride in the fact, like I said, that whenever people see our band, they always leave going, man, next time that band comes to town, we're going to come check it out. And I think it's the reason why we've continued to do so well in the UK is the word of mouth spreads. So, and to play on such a big festival and such a big stage as Sonosphere, it's going to be great because there's going to be a lot of people that have never heard Fozzy and don't really know what it is that we do. And that's what we like, you know, kind of, it's always fun to preach to the choir, but it's cool to go out there and make new fans as well, too. So we're looking forward to, I think, taking a lot of people by surprise. And like I said, just putting on the type of show that anybody who's seen us knows exactly what we do, and anybody who hasn't seen us are going to be pleasantly blown away.
Are you aware at the moment how long of a time slot you have been given at Sonosphere?
I'm not sure. Usually on you know, festivals like that, you're probably looking at about 45 minutes or something like that. Anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, but probably 45 minutes, I'd say.
So is it fair to assume then, given that you'll be having between 30 and 45 minutes, that you're going to be throwing out every massive tune that you have, or are you going to perhaps throw in a few songs that people may not expect at Sonosphere?
It just depends on what mood we're in on that day, and that's one good thing about being in a band with Rich Ward. He's played so many festivals, and he and I can pretty much read the crowd, and, you know, obviously for something like Sonosphere, you want to make it as heavy as possible, and so we'll probably get to do 6 to 8 songs, which is, you know, gives us enough time to really get warmed up and really get into it.
Now, you mentioned that you will be playing with Rich, and as you mentioned, he's played many a show with different bands and has been to festivals and whatnot. With that in mind, what are the main differences that you have noticed between a festival crowd and a a proper Fozzy crowd, for lack of a better phrasing, at one of your shows? Is there a major difference?
Well, they're a lot bigger. Obviously, that's the first difference. And the second one is, I mean, there's always such a great vibe at festivals where, I mean, and there's a great vibe at our own shows as well. So they're pretty similar in the fact that I think people come to a Fozzy gig the same reason why people come to festival gigs. They want to have a good time. You know, you don't have to impress anybody. You know, sometimes people come to shows and they're a little bit, arms crossed and a little bit sour, but not really at a festival because everyone's waiting to have fun. And I think especially the UK festivals, it's such an eclectic lineup because people enjoy all the bands. So it doesn't just have to be all really heavy bands or all, punk bands or all classic rock bands. It's kind of a good mix of all and everything in between. So people are excited about that, and they kind of know what they're getting themselves into. So, yeah, there's more similarities between a Fozzy crowd and a festival crowd than there is differences.
Given that the lineup is very eclectic, as you mentioned, does that make your job on stage harder to want to get people to watch you, or does it actually make it in some ways easier?
Well, I mean, all that you can ask for is that people pay attention, and all you need is their attention for 5 minutes, and they'll make up their minds whether they dig the band or not. And like I said, we come out, hit the ground running, and right from the start, grab people's attention. So I think we're a very easy band to like in a festival environment because people are there to have a great time and have a party and do some headbanging and do some rocking, and that's what we provide. So there's definitely no ballads or anything like that in our set, especially when we're going to be playing, at a big festival like that, probably midday or somewhere around there. So I think our set will go by so fast because people will, get into it right off the bat.
And I will ask, given that obviously you're playing on such a huge bill, you mentioned your time slot there. Are you aware if you're going to be fairly early in the day, or is that information not really privy to you at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure right now. I'm not sure. Like, that's the thing. There's so many bands playing that you don't really know your schedule that early. I think they've probably still put it together themselves. So wherever the slot is, we'll tear it up, man. Whether it's the beginning of the day or the last band of the night, we'll do our job and make sure that people have a great time. That's all we care about.
There we go, everyone. And looking at your current tour lineup, which can be found on fozzyrock.com for those listening, you're certainly travelling around Europe quite a lot this time. You're crisscrossing between England, Germany, Switzerland, Denmark and Belgium I've got on here. It certainly seems to be one of your more, I would say, strenuous touring schedules. Is that fair to say, Chris?
Yeah, we've never really done a lot of stuff in Europe. It's always been, the UK and then some shows in France and a few shows in Germany years ago. So we have a new booking agency now that hooked up with us after our last tour. I was really impressed by what we were doing and wants to have us play more in Europe to get more prominence and more of a presence there. So yeah, we are crisscrossing more than we ever have, and I'm excited about it. I mean, anytime we can play a show with Fozzy is exciting. I've been to a lot of those countries with the WWE, but I've never been to Belgium before, I've never been to the Netherlands before, or Denmark, so it's cool to know that I'm going there for the first time with Fozzy after all these years of traveling all these different countries. And, we're touring with Anthrax, which is going to be great because it gives you a little bit more of an edge when you get into some of these markets. And like I said, it's just about making new fans at this point. We've been doing this for 12 years now, and it's been, just amazing to see the band build and to see the band grow, and this is the next step for us at this point.
And perhaps excluding Sonosphere in this point, given the amount of time you may or may not have, but in terms of material that you'll be playing on the tour, in my last interview with you, I spoke with you briefly about perhaps new material on the way for Fozzy, and you mentioned that things were perhaps in the works and you might be going into the studio earlier this year. So with that in mind, Chris, is there any update on potential new material from Fozzy in the works?
Yeah, absolutely. I've already written all the lyrics for the next record, and we were going to start actually doing some recording this summer, but then this huge tour came up, so we're going to wait till the fall and hopefully have a new record out winter or spring of next year. That's kind of our plan. That's our goal.
And can we perhaps expect any of the new material in some form to make it onto this upcoming tour?
No, it's not ready yet, but we're still enjoying playing all the songs from Grail, and I think, like I said, with all these new territories that we're going to, we're still riding the wave of this last record, and people dig those songs. So I think we're going to have a great set any way you slice it, no matter what we play.